Hi everyone, Alan Cohn here. A crazy day here at ABC 7. Melissa Howard, the Republican candidate for state representative in Sarasota and Manatee counties, has withdrawn from the race. We're going to give a little bit of an opportunity for everybody to tune into what we're saying here, because this is breaking news, and it's really important news. It's been an incredible couple of days. It really started towards the end of last week when we started hearing rumors that Melissa Howard's claim on her campaign website about graduating from Miami University of Ohio may not be true. We, like other news organizations, were checking out the information, and then on late Friday, a conservative website here in Florida broadcast for the first time indications that what we were hearing as rumors was in fact true, that Melissa Howard did not complete her degree at Miami University of Ohio, which is, I believe, based in the Cincinnati area. That's where Melissa Howard is from. She initially fought back against those allegations, and in fact that conservative website was forced to take down their story because Melissa Howard produced her transcript and the photograph of herself with her college diploma. The only problem with that turned out to be that the dean at Miami University said that the school had no indications that she completed her degree, and in fact there were factual errors on the diploma that she took a picture of in terms of the officials from the school, the type of degree. So that just resulted in a firestorm. Melissa Howard took down some of her social media sites, and Republican officials from Sarasota and Manatee counties were put in an incredibly difficult situation. Melissa Howard has been a huge stalwart of the Republican establishment here. So they basically said, including Joe Gruder, state representative, Howard's campaign treasurer, and the chairman of the Sarasota Republican Party, said, hey, this is up to voters to decide. So it got quite ugly over the weekend, and then came the shocking news yesterday that despite the fact that this story has gone national, it's been on the front pages of the New York Times and the Washington Post and ABC News and CNN, Melissa Howard late yesterday said that she was going to stay in the race, even though she made a terrible personal mistake. In fact, her comment late yesterday was pretty incredible. I would like to apologize to my family and my supporters for this situation. It is not my intent to deceive or mislead anyone. I made a mistake in saying that I completed my degree. What I did wrong and set a bad example for someone seeking public service. I am staying in the race and intend to win and lead by example from now on. Now, that statement in and of itself caught a lot of people by attention here, because when she said it was not my intent to deceive or mislead anyone, well, the fact of the matter is, when by putting out a transcript and a diploma that in some way was falsified, that pretty much looked like intent. So once again, Republicans from Sarasota and Manatee were put in a very difficult position of trying to defend the indefensible. In fact, her campaign consultant called it fake news, which, you know, after 2 years, you pretty much know when a politician cries about fake news, more times often it's true. So here's the situation that came out today. There was still a lot of pressure, a lot of turmoil within the Republican Party. And then finally, just before noon today, we received a text from Melissa Howard basically saying that she made a terrible personal mistake and that she will be withdrawing from this campaign and this race, and she hopes to go do the good work that she's been known for years in terms of working with children and her charitable work. We should also mention during this process, Friday night, Howard's husband had a cardiac event, and she basically said that her first priority was taking care of her husband. And that really is also something that we should consider. As someone who has covered politics around here for a long time and elsewhere, and who myself has been a candidate for office running for Congress a couple of years ago, you should never lose sight of the fact that people running for office are people too. And they do make mistakes. You cannot rationalize what Melissa Howard did here, but you do have to understand that she's a wife. She did a lot of good things in this community. She hopes to continue to do good things in this community, but she made a terrible mistake. The question now is what happens, because you still have a primary, and at this point you still have vote by mail. Those ballots are already out there and they're being cast as we speak, even though the primary is not until the 28th of August. She has a Republican challenger, Tommy Gregory, who has been talking about this issue for a couple of days now. It's really going to be interesting for the Republican Party, because theoretically, at least, since the mail ballots have been out there for some time now, she could wind up winning this primary despite leaving the race. So these are all things that are going to have to be taken into consideration. And the one other thing that we have to keep an eye on is whether Melissa Howard broke any laws. Now, in general, it is not against the law to lie to the public. It's against the law to lie to federal investigators, as we're learning about what's happening in Washington, but per se, it is not against the law to lie. Although the former Manatee Republican chairman has written a letter to the state's attorney, Ed Brodsky, basically asking for this case to be investigated. And the fact is, Howard could face some criminal charges under Florida statute 817.566, which states, any person with intent to defraud, misrepresent his or her association with an academic standing or progress at any post-secondary educational institution by falsely making, altering, simulating, or forging a degree is guilty of first-degree misdemeanor. All this is going to have to play out. So we are going to have continuing coverage coming up today on all our broadcasts, including an entire hour on ABC 7 at 7 at the Trapezoid. An incredible show. We're going to have Sarasota Republican Chairman Joe Gruders on, along with the other Republican candidate running, Tommy Gregory, and also the Democratic candidate running for the same seat, Liv Coleman. So please stay with us. This is a fascinating and if not, a very sad story to report. But we'll be catching you later on, that's right, the Trapezoid.